mobile application to provide communication between the hearing impaired and different service providers. Post-COVID-19, the application shall be used in higher education, employment, judicial systems, and social settings. Find the application on the Google Play Store. Are you implementing, working, or championing for inclusion? Partner with us to ensure inclusivity in every communication or project undertaken by you. Get in touch with us. The website is www.sciencemediake.com. The email is info@sciencemediake.com. Telephone 0111 980384, or you can find us on Twitter @Science TV Kenya. Welcome to the home of inclusion, and let's make communication beautiful.
My name is Luke Kizito Ojiambo Muleka. I am the founder and managing director of Science Media Kenya Limited. Science Media has two products. One is a sign language television station, Science TV, and a sign language interpreter's mobile application, Assistol. For the first time, deaf people have choice. For the first time, deaf people are going to experience real inclusion, because now, being this marginal, the minority population in the major population, it was easy for them to be left out in the society. But now with Assistol, you find that now a deaf person has a choice to when they can go to a meeting, when they can go for that job interview. A deaf person now has a choice on when to go to hospital, simply because they can access these interpretation services now on their fingertips. We are going to see a lot of inclusion of deaf people in the community, in the society, simply because of the ability for them now to communicate seamlessly using this mobile application.
In 2011, Science Media Kenya Limited was From that break, we're glad you're still watching Science Breakfast with me, Alan Hubbard. A sign language interpreter this morning is Esther Kendi. Now, these are the stories that are making headlines in the country. A death toll from infection at Mukumu Girl rises. Sorry, that's not the one. Apologies for that. Now, we started off with 13 people perished in accident on Wandani Mwatate Road. Now, we start this news bulletin with the death of 13 people who perished in a grisly road accident in Josa area on the Wandani Mwatate Road in Taita Taveta County. The Saturday night accident happened after a bus carrying a group of mourners traveling to Mombasa after attending the funeral in Mugambonyi overturned, and here are the full reports that the Inspector General of Police Joseph Kome has attributed the Sergeant road accidents to careless driving, warning of STEM action against all road users.
Driver ni kama alikuwa amelewa kiasi, kwa sababu ni mtu wa Mugoka, alinunua pakiti kama 10 hapo asubuhi na fegi pakiti 2. Alafu asemekana kama alikunywa, alionja kijipombe huko. Niliona kama video kama drama tu hapo jana. Kuna ile ukuta ile tukaenda igonga tukaruka. Gari ka roll kama mara 3. Sasa the moment na roll kuna bodies zinatolewa na kwenye vioo. Tuko familia watu 5 hapo ndani. Kuna brother yangu Said kama ongei. Kuna sister zangu ile alikufa instant hapo niliwavuta. Kuna shemeji yangu.
Within a year tumeona mabasi matatu yakipata ajali kama hii ya jana usiku. Waangalie ni namna gani wanaweza kudhibiti lile tatizo lipo pale.
All this accident is carelessness, attitude, and that is what we want to address now. Again, drunkenness, and that's why we're asking our people, please don't drink and drive.
Well, that's sad story. Now to Azimio leaders want more players included in talks. The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya coalition held a public rally at Nairobi's Kamkunji grounds where the opposition leaders listed fresh demands ranging from reduction of the cost of living and electoral reforms and the expansion of the bipartisan talks to include non-parliamentary groups. The Azimio leaders, led by Raila Odinga, Martha Karua and Kalonzo Musyoka, also threatened to resume street protests, accusing the government of showing no goodwill ahead of the bipartisan talks.
Mazungumzo itafanyika nje ya bunge. Itakuwa wakilishi ni wa bunge lakini nje ya bunge. Kama ile bwana Kofi Annan. Na kama wameshakuelewana, hiyo itapelekwa ndani ya bunge kupitishwa. Sawa sawa. Kwanza, gharama ya maisha, bei ya unga mpaka irudi chini shilingi 100 kwa pakiti. Bei ya mafuta mpaka irudi chini. Bei ya stima irudi chini. Sasa karo ya shule irudi chini.
Wameokota trilioni 1 na karibu nusu. Hiyo pesa yote wanapeleka kwa mifuko yao, hawajafanya kazi ya Wakenya.
Tunaingia awamu ya pili ya our just struggle to make this nation a proud nation among the community of nations.
Unasema hawa wananchi wamekuchosha na kuvaa sufuria, wawache kuvaa sufuria kwa kichwa. Heri hawa wananchi wanavaa sufuria kwa kichwa kwa sababu hakuna chenye wanapika kwa hiyo sufuria.
Maandamano yetu itakuwa ya amani. Fujo inaanza na askari wa Bwana Ruto. Fujo inaanza na askari ya Bwana Ruto, sio? Sivyo? Hao ndio wameanza fujo, wamepiga watu wetu, hata wameua watu wetu wengine, sio?
Bwana IG Kome, ujitayarishe kwenda kule Uholanzi. You must go and be accountable for all lives lost in Kenya.
that, now to President Ruto tells opposition to end talk on elections. President William Ruto has implored Azimio leader Raila Odinga to give the bipartisan talks a chance before resuming their bi-weekly protests. Speaking during an interdenominational church service in Machakos County, the president criticized the opposition for advancing their selfish interests at the expense of the common person. The president seemingly hitting out at Azimio leader, questioning whether the protests would lower the cost of living.
Walete kamati yao, sisi tumetengeneza kamati yetu, waketi chini, waongee, ile watakubaliana, tupeleke Kenya mbele, lakini waniwachie nafasi nipange mambo ya maendeleo ya taifa letu la Kenya na wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya.
You have no business in the streets. You have no business destroying property. You have no business putting sufurias on your head. And the Kamba people cannot follow a leader who destroys property because it's against what the Kamba nation believes in.
I know you're a good leader. Don't listen to too much noise with your deputy. And if talking is going to give us peace, and so be it.
Hata kama unatafuta haki yako kama kiongozi, unavunja mali ya wananchi kwa nini? Unalete fujo kwa wananchi kwa nini? Unalete vita kwa wananchi kwa nini? Unaharibu biashara ya wananchi kwa sababu gani?
Kama wewe ni opposition leader, kaa hapo. Kama wewe ni president, kaa hapo. Sisi wote tuendeshe Kenya ikiwa kitu moja.
If we want the prices to go down, how can they go down when there is chaos?
The way to bring down the cost of unga is to pray God that these rains continue and to mobilize all of our supporters to go to the farms and to request you to subsidize fertilizers so that we can yield more in our farms.
We must stand shoulder to shoulder, united, so that we can plan and effect the plans and programs that is going to transform our nation.
Kama sisi hatutaungana, haya matunda ambayo tumepewa sisi kama na rais wetu, ataweza kuwaletea kitu kama kuna muungano? Na madharau ya pesa 8 watu waachane nayo.
We request that if we can have an increase in our salaries, Your Excellency.
Sisi tunalala tukiwa na wasiwasi kwamba hii huruma yako na Biblia yako unaweza soma mstari yenye inasema ufanye handshake. Hiyo kitabu, hiyo mstari yenye handshake iko ifungwe.
Hatuwezi kuendelea kuongea tena mambo ya viongozi. Nafasi tulio nayo sasa ni kuongea na kupanga mambo ya wananchi.
From President William Ruto and his Kenya Kwanza flank. Now, Police IG Kome says police won't be cowed by Azimio ITC petition. Now, Inspector General of Police Japheth Kome has dismissed Azimio for weeks later to the International Criminal Court, seeking to have him investigated for allegedly ordering attacks against Azimio supporters and leaders during the mass action protests. Kome, who termed the letter as a propaganda, says the opposition's agenda is to try and intimidate police officers who are carrying out their duties of protecting lives and property during the protests, which he insists were illegal. The Inspector General, who okayed Sunday's Azimio rally at Kamkunji grounds on condition that they ensure their supporters maintain peace and order, says he will not hesitate to act if Azimio leaders made good their threat of going back to the streets after Ramadan.
Us as the National Police Service, we are not at all intimidated by those letters. Therefore, I wish to request my fellow members of the National Police Service not to be intimidated at all. Hata ukisema nini niende huko. I have patriotic police officers who will take over from me and do the job. There's somebody, we lost 20 million in one day. If that letter, has that been mentioned? Or is just mentioning Koome to intimidate him? That will not happen. I will not be intimidated. When it comes to looting, destroying property, killing people, maiming people, injuring people, That will not happen. Not under my watch. Na nitatumia vifaa zote ambazo nimepewa na Wakenya. Si kununua mimi mwenyewe hivi vifaa. Wakenya ndio wamenunulia mimi hivi vifaa, tear gas, bunduki. Ni Wakenya wamenunulia. Ndio ni walinde. Douglas Kanja was previously commander GSU. He has instructions to remain there permanently. DIG Kenya Police Service will remain there permanently. Then DIG Gabo will relocate to take care of the borders so that we don't have infiltration of Al-Shabaab into the country.
From the IG now to 3 suspects arrested on as EACC officers bust illegal tax collection scheme. Now 3 suspects have been arrested and 174,000 shillings were recovered after the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission bust a multi-million illegal tax collection scheme. Now the scheme, which is being run by senior police officers and officials working with the Kitui County government, they said that collects cash from lorries ferrying sand along the Mwingi Matu Road at illegal roadblocks. Here are the full details of this story. And away from that now to power consumers decree electricity tariff hike. Millions of Kenyans across the country continue to feel the pinch since the implementation of the new electricity tariffs by Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority, EPRA, which took effect this month. In the new tariffs, the energy regulator has split customer clusters into 3 categories, with some facing a price hike of as high as 19% per unit. Now, here are the full details of how these tariffs have been broken down.
The respondents are actually the Attorney General, EPRA, and Kenya Power, so they had to be listened to. So when we went on the 3rd, I think we were given some dates for various other progress, and I think we will be heard on the 8th of May. The power was increased by between 55% to 66%, but forex and fuel costs were brought down by around 55% each to cover up for that big change. But with the time, expect that if they go back to the original position, you would get even some of the tariff in this power being paid at 40 shillings per kilowatt hour. You realize that every month the fuel cost will always be different from the previous month. Forex will always be different from the previous month. And it is a boardroom decision that we believe as a society that people will sit and decide that we need this amount of billions to come through fuel cost. We need this amount of billions to come through Forex. So that being decided every month and then, that is what makes the fuel cost being, what makes the cost of power keep on changing.
That story, we come to the end of the news that are making headlines in the country. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're coming back with your dailies. Keep it signed.